A blessed day, everyone. Welcome once again to our new lesson. And our topic for today is about DHCP server configuration using packet tracer. Okay, so let us go to our packet tracer and we're going to make our actual configuration here in our packet tracer. So first, we're going to choose our router and we're going to choose the 2911 router here, and next one we're going to choose our switch here, and we will be using 2960 switch here. So let us place here the switch and let us choose now our server. So our server will be named later as DHCP server, and we will be needing our two computers here and another computer. Okay, so we can now connect all the devices using our cable. So the cable that we are be using here will be straight through cable. So this one, select that and connect it to your router and select gigabit ethernet 0/0 and connect it to your switch. Okay, and select gigabit ethernet 0/1. Okay, so we have our connection from router to switch, and we're going to connect and be using another straight through cable to connect our switch fast ethernet 0/1 to our server. Okay, then click fast ethernet 0, and again another cable connection straight through to connect our switch fast ethernet 0/2 to our PC 0, and click fast ethernet 0, and another straight through cable to connect our fast ethernet 0/3 to connect to your PC fast ethernet 0. So we already have our complete connections here, and here before we can have a complete connection, a green connection here, so we will be configuring our router first. Okay, so let us do that, and we click our router here and we click CLI or the command line interface and go to our command line. So we type N here as no, press enter and press enter again, and you'll type here enable, and press enter, and you are now in your router. So let us name this router as host name. Let us rename the router as R1. So to change the router name to R1, you type host name, then the name of your router, which is R1. So press enter. Okay, so invalid. So we need to go to the global configuration first. Okay, so type conf t configuration terminal. This will lead you to the global configuration, and press enter. And now that's the time we type the host name, and the name of our router will be R1, and then press enter. There, you are now inside, or change the router name into R1. Then here we're going to go to our interface. So in our connection here, we're going to configure the interface of this one. So this is gig 0/0, as you can see. So here, there, gig 0/0. So that is the interface for the router. So we're going to type it here. So type interface. Let us make it small, enter G, then press enter, and it will complete your command. Press tab rather, and it will complete your command like interface gigabit ethernet. Now we are inside our interface, and what interface is that again? That is 0/0 that we are going to configure. Then press enter. So we are now inside the interface 0/0 for the gigabit ethernet. Okay, then here we're going to type the IP address that we would like to make. Okay, so let us first make a complete guide here before we complete our command. So let us make this one whole network by using this shape, and let us use this circle shape and fill color, then select color, then yellow, and okay. So to make this one whole network, okay, so this is now a one whole network interpretation. And let us also change this. So let us change this server name into DHCP Server. Okay, then let us place a note here that this is our network 1, and the IP address that we will be placing here will be 192.168.10.0. That is according to my preference. I would want to use that 192.168.10.0 for this network. Okay, so once I'm done, I'll go back to my command here. Now I can define and use this network here to my command. Okay, so I'm going to type here the IP address for the gateway. So I'm going to type IP address, then 192.168.10.1. Then so here I'm defining my gateway here, 192.168.10.1, referring or basing here to the main network. Okay, so let us go back and let us type the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. so for our subnet mask. So by the way, let us place here /24 for that subnet mask, and there. So that is the reason why we use 255.255.255.0, a classful subnet mask. And now we able to place our network IP address or the gateway in our command line. So we type here no shutdown, press enter there, and type exit, and press Ctrl C to exit entirely. And to save all the configuration inside the router, we type copy, then run. Okay, then press tab to complete the command. Okay, auto complete command, and we type st for startup config. So this is the complete command. This is the complete command to save our complete configuration, and you just have to press enter here, enter, and you will be asked for this one, question mark, and you just type enter again, and uh, it will be uh, building its configuration, and now you're done once you see this R1. Okay, so we close this one, and as you can see this is now a, a green one connection. So this means that we have a complete connection from our router to our switch and entirely to our server and to these two computers. Okay, so next to that is we're going to uh, configure our DHCP server here. So let us configure that, and first we're going to place the IP address for this server. So we click the IP configuration icon here, and we type an IP address for our server. So normally we use the last uh, IP address, okay, for our server. So we're going to use that 192.168.10.254, and that is the last usable IP address that should be assigned for a server. Okay, and click this one. It will give you automatic subnet mask, and our default gateway based from our command earlier is 192.168.10.1. That is what we type as our default gateway and our router. So we will hold for a while our DNS server because we don't have yet our DNS server. Okay, so we can now close this one, and it will be saved automatically. And next to that is, let us again open our server. Let us check if it is saved. Yes. Then let us go to the server services. Okay, from the services we go to our DHCP, since the server act as DHCP. So we click that, and normally the settings here is by default is off, in off condition. So we click on, we make it on, and configure our DHCP server. Okay, so we click this server pool. This is what we're going to edit. Okay, so now let us type here default gateway. So our default gateway for our configuration is 192.168.10.1. Okay, and we are not going to place a DNS server, and start address here, start IP address will be, we're going to use like the distribution of automatic IP address will start at 20. Okay, and the subnet mask is already placed, and maximum number of users here, so it should not be 255. Let us just use 100 maximum users. So that is according to your configuration, but for me, my configuration is just 100. Okay, so we do not place a TFTP server here, and also the WLC address. And once we are done configuring our server pool here, then we're going to save our configuration. Save, do not click add, just save to edit your server pool. Then click save, and it will be saved here. So I'm going to maximize this to show. So we have configured our server pool by this 192.168.1, our gateway, and here gateway, and the IP address, the starting IP address is the 20, and our subnet mask, and maximum user is 100. So we're done. Okay, so let us close this one, and let us try to go to our PC. So then click desktop and let us check the IP configuration for our PC 0. So by default it is selected as static, and once you are be configuring the IP address as static, you're going to type 192.168 just like that. But since we have our DHCP server here, we don't need to configure it manually. Our DHCP server here will be the one to give the IP address automatically. So let us select this DHCP since we already have our server. So let us try to click, and it should generate here, there. So the DHCP automatically gives the address, and the address here is 192.168.20.10.20, and the default gateway is this one, 192.168.10.1 that we configured from the DHCP server. Okay, so that's the use of our DHCP server. So we can now close this one, and this one, let us again configure, go to desktop and click the IP configuration, and by default there is no IP address. And again, since we have our DHCP server here, we don't need to type manually the IP address for this PC. Okay, so we just click DHCP and it will generate the automatic IP address for this PC1. So let us try and click DHCP, and there it was generated, and the IP address given here is 192.168.10.21 based from our configuration. The starting address is 20, and now the IP is .21. Okay, so we close our configuration, and so you can now check the communication here. Like for example, you get the PDU message, and let us try to communicate this PC going to this server, and let us check this one, that is successful connection. Okay, so let us check this message from server to our server, from server to our PC 0, and the connection is successful. Okay, so from PC to PC, let us try that one, PC to PC, and the connection again is successful. Okay, so if we communicate our server to our router here, so it will give us again a successful connection. DHCP server here to router. Okay, the earlier is PC1 to PC0. So our connection for this entire network was a successful one. So we able to configure our DHCP server to give an automatic address to PC0 and PC1. So that is the use of our DHCP server. Okay, so we're done with this simple configuration for DHCP server. Okay, then we will continue our topic. So having this HTTP connection, so we're done with DHCP. So we're going later to connect an HTTP server and DNS server, okay, to our configured DHCP server. Okay, so thank you so much, and see you in our next lesson. God bless.